Hey guys! We're back!
We're back. It's us. In 2020.
In 2020, yes we are. And some of us has had a lot more interesting 2020 than others.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that, possibly.
Technically, it was still 2019 for me.
Yes, but it went into 2020.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I'm Raquel.
I'm Jake.
And this is Don't You Know? So, let's go ahead and, I don't have too much to say about myself, I don't think. I know Jacob definitely has a lot to say. So let's go ahead, before we do that, get into our little updates podcast-wise.
Okay, podcast updates. Sounds great.
In our last episode, we talked about discussing who would win for most downloads for the whole year. And surprisingly enough, Georgia won that. I'm really shocked by that.
That's right.
And they won by a lot.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know how that happened, but they did.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, because I felt like every month I was saying a different state. I was saying like New York or Michigan or California. Like last month, December, California won by one download. But I was like never saying, oh, Georgia wins this month again.
Unsung heroes. Number 2 all year, and we win by points at the podium.
So, some new countries that we have, or possibly new, possibly not. I can't really remember. It's been almost a year now, Jacob. So it's hard to remember all the new countries.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've mentioned Israeli.
Israel? Not sure. Can't remember.
Israel.
Welcome aboard.
Sorry. I knew I was saying that wrong too. That's why I stuttered over it. I was like, I'm saying this wrong. What the heck? And I'm like, what is it? I can't remember. And then Poland. I don't remember if we've mentioned them.
Poland.
You're laughing. Did I say that one wrong too?
Polish blood in me. No, you're good. I'm Polish.
Okay then. And I think that's it for podcast update wise.
Well, welcome aboard. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we have anything going on production wise. You know what I've been wanting to do, and I think would be kind of fun to do, would be maybe do like a little, because I know you had fun doing this, and I wouldn't mind doing it again, and just only doing this, and it'll be like a really quick little video kind of thing, but to do our little like 10-second drawing things again.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fun.
Maybe like, I don't know if we really want to do it like every week, but like maybe once a month that would be kind of fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then have like the whole month to vote on it. Maybe something really quick. It would be like 5 minutes probably.
Pictionary
tops.
event. Don't you draw?
So yeah, that sounds like fun. Okay, maybe we'll do that. Give us some feedback if you guys want us to do that.
We could do like one of the rounds with like longer time too, because those were so fast. Gives a little bit of time.
Well, that's what makes it fun. Is 10 seconds. It's like you have to like. Okay, you have to try to like, because I give us the topic of what we're going to be drawing. So basically you have to think about it and decide what about that word is like the most distinguishable.
You don't have time to think about it.
That's why I said I told you what we were going to be drawing before we even drawed. So like with our vampire one, like the most thing that you would remember about it is the teeth. So I made sure I drew the teeth first. And you have to pick which one. I won the vampire, I hope you know. So
I had an amulet and I had teeth. Anyway.
So we might do that. Let us know what you guys think about that. And I think that's it. We don't have any much going on with Rocky Doesn't Game right now. We'll have to set something up.
Been too busy.
Yeah. I know we were gonna do the Avatar thing, and
Do you still play it?
No. I've kind of somewhat lost interest in it. It's just, I was kind of hoping for like an actual kind of like gaming kind of thing, and it's more of like writing and kind of like imagine yourself in this world kind of thing, and I can do kind of stuff like that and be creative in that way, but not with like, I got like a message, and you probably got one too by now, Jacob, which is like, oh, you haven't filled out your like bio part. You have to come up with like parents, where you're born, all this like stuff.
Your backstory.
Yeah, and I don't really want to do all that.
You gotta help create the lore.
Yeah, because since it's in a different time, like different like world with different time periods, stuff like that. Now you have to try to remember your backstory while you're doing all this stuff. Like you basically have to become this character, and that's more work than I really want to do.
A lot of commitment.
Yeah, I'd rather just kind of like play a game
Yeah.
And, like, I'm down for, like, totally creating characters. That's cool. But to, like, come up with a whole backstory, and then you have to stay in this character the whole time, and then all the events involve you, like, writing stories, basically. I want to go and, like, play something, and I'm, like, forming a team or something like that, and we're going to go defeat evil spirits or something, you know?
You just want to throw, like, water whips at people. Fireballs and stuff.
I apparently can't do water whips. I actually was reading more into the guidelines, and apparently, since I'm only a newbie, you start off as a newbie, basically. I don't remember what the name of it was called, but basically it's a noob.
You can just, like, your only power is, like, you can sweat where you want to sweat, and, like, that's all you got.
Nah, you can, like, form...
You can wash your hands without a faucet. That's pretty handy.
No. So basically, with waterbending, we can... Because you're a waterbender, too.
Do waterbenders get thirsty, or can they just spawn water and drink it?
No, you only can control water that is there, but...
Can you pull it out of the atmosphere, like the atmosphere around you? Like the air?
So, that's the what I was going to say, was Katara found... So before, they always, like, had to carry water with them, but Katara was kind of, like, the leading person, where she learned that you can, like, pull water... like, from almost anything. So she learned to pull water from, like, plants. She learned to use her sweat. Like, so she would, like, be like, they were trapped in this jail cell that was, like, wood. So they had no way of getting out. So then she started to, like, run in place and form sweat. And then she started to use her sweat to, like, waterbend.
Huh.
And then she even learned that during a full moon, you could bloodbend.
Oh.
Because your blood is mostly water. So...
Okay, so could you have a situation where there's somebody like Gaara from Naruto who has, like, the sand in that big, like, jar on his back? Could she just, like, have, like, a big, massive thing of water on her back and just carry that around using her bending to, like, lift it? Because water's really heavy.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she could, but most of the time it involves, like, a motion.
Then you just fling that thing at somebody, too, and just, like, crush them. I will crush you.
But most of the time when they're waterbending, it involves, like, motions. They don't just all of a sudden, like imagine, like, telekinesis kind of wise and the water moves. They actually usually use, like, kind of like that mixed martial arts kind of thing to move the water. So I don't know how that would work.
There's a large portion of our audience who just has no idea or interest in what we're talking about.
Yes, let's move on.
Yeah,
anyways, so I don't know if we'll do that, but I know we keep talking about doing Fortnite, so that might be... Oh, wait, no, not Fortnite, because Jacob doesn't like Fortnite. Maybe Apex, then.
Maybe Apex, yeah. My brothers have been wanting me to play Apex again, because there's a big update released, apparently a new game mode, and I just haven't even tried it out yet. I've been so busy.
I feel like editing-wise, something like that would be a little bit easier on you than for us to play Minecraft for an hour and then you edit that down.
Yeah.
With Apex or whatever. Or even if we had, like, even with Avatar, it would have been, yeah. Even if we had done Avatar, it would have been longer to do. Whereas Apex, we have the one match or maybe 2, 3 matches or whatever, and that's it. Like, that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to be like, okay, well, I have to take out this hour and make it interesting and match it down.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's no real downtime. There is a lot of downtime in Apex, though. Now you're making me want to play.
So, well, there's a little downtime maybe, like, in between, but you wouldn't even have to put that in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll think about it.
Because trust me, I would be getting killed probably really quickly.
Yeah, so do I.
And then you won't have to worry about editing my stuff down.
Yeah, no, so will I. Honestly, I'll probably die at the beginning, and then you'll go on and just stumble through and then win, like, champions. That's how it's going to play out if we get around to this.
So, and then if we played with, like, your siblings or my siblings, you basically have to do, like, maybe 1 or 2, like, kills that they do, and then, like, the very end, because they usually make it towards the end, and then do, like, that where they die at the end or win at the end, and that would be it. You wouldn't have to play, like, the whole thing, and it would be a lot shorter, like, match-wise to cut down.
I gotcha.
So that would be something in the future as well. Okay,
maybe.
So let's go ahead and get into our lives. My life has been, alright. Nothing too interesting has happened.
So we've had a little while, because it's been a little bit in between.
Yeah, we had a week off, and the reason why will be discussed by Jacob later.
Yeah.
I have not done much in between there. I cleaned out my room because I got stuff for Christmas, so I was setting that up.
That's cool. Get anything real notable?
I basically got almost everything I asked for, so that's good.
I think we talked about this on a previous episode, now that I mention it.
Yeah, I mentioned how I got my jacket from my mom, and then the DNA kit from my grandma, which I sent off, so I'm still waiting for that. That's
It'll
going to
probably
take a while to come back.
Yeah, they're going to be backed up for a while.
Yeah, I think it said like anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks. And then my dad got me an Alexa, not Alexa, don't talk. No, stop it! Sorry, it's like right next to me. I got an Echo Show.
Nice.
And she's probably about to talk. Stop! Okay, cool.
They're fun. You're not supposed to don't bully the AI. It's rude.
So I got an Echo Show, and since my dad got me that, I went ahead and bought 2 lights and a fan. And so now I can like say certain commands, like insert name here, I'm back, and it will turn my lights on.
Nice.
If I say insert name here, because I don't want it to go off, insert her name here, and goodnight, it will turn my fan on and turn my lights off.
Nice. Do you have the one where you can change like the colors of the lights?
Yeah, I can change the color of these lights if I wanted, but
Nice.
I don't particularly want to. I don't see any reason why right now.
We've got an Alexa I've been hanging out with recently at the girlfriend's parents' house, the mom's house, and the mom, her mother's house. And there's an Alexa there, and it's very difficult. I'm constantly bullying it all the time, and I don't even try to. Like, I give it good commands and stuff, and she's just not having it. She doesn't like my jokes.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway.
No one likes your jokes.
Wow. Speaking of bullying.
Anyways, okay. Yep. So, yeah, nothing much is going on with me. And let's go ahead and do you, because you have more interesting stuff.
Yeah,
because we said this was going to be a short one.
Yeah.
And right now it's looking to be pretty long.
Yeah, we're on a good roll. A good roll so far. So I started 2020 with a little bit less teeth than I wanted to for my birthday.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth.
Yeah, I got them
That's what my
knocked out.
cousin said when I told you about your teeth. She's like, all I want for Christmas is 2 front teeth? I was like, that's speed.
So I woke up on the 28th as 27-year-old me, and my dad was like, we should go to Rigby's. It's a local like skating rink, and it's kind of got go-karts. Oh, we didn't get to do go-karts. It's got like a bunch of different stuff, like laser tag arena and some arcades and stuff. So there's a lot you can do. Anyway,
that's what you get.
Went there and was like, we should go rollerblading. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. You may hear my lisp already. I've got like, what is it? Like I've lost. Well, I'll keep telling the story. So I'm skating, and I'm trying to do tricks and stuff, but not really. I'm just kind of skating. And usually I can turn around and go backwards, and I couldn't, and I kept trying. And let's just say, for official purposes, that I was just going normal. I wasn't trying a trick when this happened. But anyway, one of these attempts landed me on my mouth, which is unusual for me because I've fallen down a lot in my life doing wrestling and doing a lot of rollerblading and stuff. And I can usually do it, but I couldn't this time. And I went down, and boom, and I could feel my tongue on my tooth. And I was like, oh no. I went down hard. It didn't hurt that badly, but I mean, it did. It wasn't fun. But I skated off to the side, and I had a couple of friends, Joel and Sally, and I had Deanna there. And I was like holding my mouth. And I show it to them, and like they're like, "What are you?" And I could just see like the shock on their face. It's like, oh man, it must be pretty bad. Anyway, ended up in the ER. I had to push my tooth back into place, so that was pretty gnarly. Went up to the ER. I got a few shots in my legs. One of them, I still have a bruise in my thigh from where they gave me the shot. And I got a tetanus booster, which is good and overdue. Still haven't done anything
for one too.
Oh, they're good to have.
By a lot. By a lot. I think my last one was like in like 8th grade. You're supposed to get them like every 10 years.
Yeah, every 10 years. Mine was right before college, so I'm just at the 9 or 10 mark. So it was about time.
Or maybe I got one when I went to college.
Usually they require it to go to college. I thought that was a thing.
No, I didn't have to get one in college.
You might have been covered if you're in middle school.
Yeah, because I got it. Yeah, I got it in middle school, and I was like...
10 years would have run out by the time you got out of college, probably.
Yeah, I think I was... What was I? How old was I? I was like 10 years old.
Anyway, back to me knocking my teeth out of my mouth story. Yeah, I gotta get a root canal on the 15th, and yeah, it's not gonna be very fun. But, that's the lives we lead. So if you hear me struggling to pronounce something... I'm doing all right. I'm eating around the sides of my mouth.
Oh, I meant to ask you that because that's what my family was asking too. They were like, "How's Jacob eating?" And I was like, "You know what? I was thinking the same thing."
I'm managing all right. I thought I was going to lose a lot of weight, but I've been eating so much. I have to like cut it up with a fork though. But I can eat on my molars just fine. It's just like where the canine teeth are. It's just in front of them, so the canine teeth are fine. And as long as I use them in the back, I can like bite like French fries, no problem. It's like I just keep wanting to eat sandwiches, and you cannot bite a sandwich at all. I need like a little fake, like a set of dentures or one of those little wind-up chomping teeth, so I can just like take a bite for me and then eat that in my molars. That's the only thing I need.
If you want a sandwich, just put it in a blender.
I haven't done any blendering stuff. We did have a smoothie, but that was supposed to be in a blender. No, yeah, it's tough. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you know? Take care of your teeth. I haven't even had a cavity, and I'm very, very proud of that. And here I go smashing them on the floor. Oh, it hurts. But there wasn't much pain. Speaking of hurting, it hasn't really hurt all that much. Like the next day I thought I was going to be so sore. But no, I wasn't really all that sore at all. It was just kind of... And they gave me painkillers, but I didn't even take them because I haven't even needed them. So...
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's good.
I'm just starting to be able to like touch it with my tongue a little more. I'm not as like scared of it as I was. So all things considered, pretty bad birthday. But still very fun. He did not
get a visit from the tooth fairy.
No, there was nothing to put under my pillow. They're still in his mouth. It's somewhere. Some little kid found it, I guess, and put it under their pillow. And I don't blame him. It's like a good chunk. One of them's like probably 70% gone. The other one's got a little chip, but it came like completely out. Like not completely out. It was just hanging there. Anyway, now if y'all are feeling squeamish in your office chairs, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Squeamish. I've been lisping and the girlfriend's making fun of me.
Aw.
And you know, the funniest thing is that it doesn't even look too bad. I think I wear it well.
It doesn't. It's not like super bad. When you smile, you can see the two front teeth big time. But when he's just talking normally, it just looks like one of his tooth might be crooked because it's missing.
Yeah, because they were big to start with, so. But when I smile, you definitely notice it.
Yeah, you definitely notice when you smile. You see how one of them is obviously like, it almost looks like the gums just receded.
Yeah,
it's sticking out.
That's basically what happened.
And then the other one looks obviously chipped. But when he's just talking or whatever, it just looks like one of his tooth kind of went in crooked, so that's why there's a little gap there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I thought my rap career was going to be ruined, but alas, I can still spit bars.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go into maybe TV shows and stuff that we've seen. Maybe.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm trying to think. I finally watched the first season of You, which is really good.
Okay, I can talk about that. The girlfriend's been watching that too. I saw one episode. Yeah. It's very confusing. It's a very confusing title, and I'm going to rant about it a little bit. Because I'm still like,
you can't rant after only watching one episode.
No. Just the title. It's like It. Oh, I'm going to see It. What are you talking about? You know, It. It what? You just like describe it. It. The movie It. Oh, okay, I got you. It's the same thing with You. She's like, I'm watching You, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, oh, Will died from You. And I was like, from me? What are you talking about? And then it clicks, and I go, oh, I've been duped. Ugh, so annoying. Get a real title.
When it was, when I was telling one of my coworkers about it, I was like, yeah, it's called You. And she was, okay. And I was like, You as in like Y-O-U. Because, you know, I didn't want her to think it was like You as in like the letter U.
The letter. It's like the pronoun.
Yeah, so.
What do you think about it? How far in are you?
Well, like I said, I'm pretty much finished with the season 1. I haven't...
How many seasons are there right now?
The second season just came out at the end of December.
Okay, gotcha.
And, like, I kind of... Normally I watch my stuff when I'm at work because I can watch and work at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really watch, but, like, listen and kind of glance.
Like many of you are doing to our podcast right now.
And luckily I had watched the first episode while I was at home. Because, like, there's so much... It is not safe for work. Not safe for work.
Not safe for
life. Not safe for work.
You shouldn't be subjecting yourself to all that violence anyway.
That was not what's not safe for work. Anyway, so it's pretty good. And I am ready to watch the second season. I've seen so many people post stuff. And watching you start to, like, kind of feel like you need to look over your shoulders.
You can
make sure.
It gets you paranoid.
Yeah, it makes you want to go in there and, like, make sure all your stuff, like location. He talks about how, this lady didn't have a lock on her phone. And you're like, what type of person doesn't have a lock on their phone?
And then you're like, oh yeah, let's set a lock on my phone.
So, but no, what got me was like he was like looking at her pictures and stuff like that and had like the location. And I was like, oh my god, make sure you don't put any. People like tag themselves everywhere that they go on Facebook. And it's like, man, you're just telling everyone where you be at.
Yeah, don't you know if your GPS is going on your phone right now, you're possibly being tracked. And it's killing your battery. Let's be real.
And yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple other things.
Another thing is your NFI, like the where you wave a phone together? Make sure that's not on all the time either. Just put that on when you're using like your touch pay.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've seen a couple other things, but nothing too interesting. I just started watching, which I've been wanting to watch it. Okay, so it's like an anime, so it's got like some type of Japanese title, and then it says Girl Beats Boys or something like that. And I started watching it. I've been wanting to watch it because the plot is about a girl who pretends to be her twin brother or whatever, and goes to a school and has to become like the top dogger at the school. And I was like, that kind of sounds like she's the man. I want to watch it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like nothing like she's the man. It took me so long to watch it because I just never had the time. And then I started to watch it today, and like the episodes are like 10 minutes long.
Oh, so you're just
like
flying
only 10
right
episodes. Yeah, like I had like 2 more episodes left. I'm watching it and I'm like, wow,
This is like a mini-series.
this is really cool. Like, I really like it because it's about, what it really is about is this girl, she meets someone who looks just like her, and I guess it doesn't really, like, say they're twins, but, I mean, they really do look like twins.
Yeah.
But she's an orphan, and he's from, like, a really wealthy family, so it's kind of like, what happened? And he tricks her, basically, into taking his place at school, because his family has to go to the school and basically become top dog at the school. It's like part of their tradition. They have to do it. And to become top dog at the school, you have to fight.
Oh, I see.
You gotta rumble. And he, I guess, discovered her at some point and was like, hey, she looks just like me, and she has practiced martial arts for years. So she actually can fight. And he apparently has, like, when he was born, he's always been like a sicker kid. So he actually can't really fight.
Okay. So he's using her as his double?
Yeah. And so it's really cool. You like watch it and she's like, pew, pew, pew. And it's just, it's like really, really quick fights. And I mean, it's really quick episodes, but it's just like, let's rumble. And she like dodges like 2 shots and it's like boom, 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 down. The person goes.
She's very precise. She doesn't drag him on.
Yeah. It kind of like almost reminds me of like, who is it? Bruce Lee. Where it was, not One Punch Man, like, but Bruce Lee, where it was like quick, like couple of shots, like in the chest area and then the face, and then they're down.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That kind of style. Nowhere near as fast as Bruce Lee, obviously, but like that kind of like quick jab kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, no fictional animation character could ever be faster than Bruce Lee.
So that's pretty good. And that's about it.
I've been craving, so anybody who watches Friends on Netflix knows that Friends is no longer supported as of the new year. They came off of that, so I got to I had 4 episodes left and I still haven't finished. So it's like, I got way to the end and I'm like, oh, it's killing me. But other than that, I watched a little bit of, you've heard of that show, Naked and Afraid? It's like a survival show.
Oh yeah, they're like on an island or something like that and they're naked and they have to like survive or something like that.
Yeah, it's always something. But it's really interesting. That's a really tough challenge. It looks really miserable, a lot of the things they have to go through.
Speaking of reality show, I just remembered I saw one too.
Oh yeah?
I saw that new one. It's called like The Circle, where basically they're in this like really fancy not really I guess kind of like hotel kind of area, and they have basically like you know who that we were talking about earlier. They basically have like that throughout the house.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically like the social media thing. So people don't know who's who, but they talk to each other all the time through the messaging app. They play games and stuff like that.
All in like identical houses or something?
Like they're almost like in like a hotel kind of room. So they each have like their own room.
Oh, okay.
And so you see sometimes they're in the gym or whatever. Or there's a jacuzzi on the roof, so sometimes they're in there. And they're never together. They never see each other. So there's actually a couple of them who are catfishing. So basically, they make a profile and they're not actually who they say they are. What happens is like they vote on who they like the most or whatever. Not necessarily like, but just like. And those 2 top people at the end of the votes become the influencer.
Okay.
And they get to block one person from the group.
Oh, interesting.
And so basically they leave. And at the very end, they'll have like a whole new thing, and the winner will get like $100,000 or something like that.
I see.
And what the thing is that once someone leaves the group, like the next day they bring someone new into the group.
Okay, so it's always changing.
Yeah, which I'm kind of like, so it's one of those ones that update every week or whatever, so I'm kind of like, I wonder how this is going to turn out, because if you do like, okay, now this is the final round of likes, and whoever gets the most likes will be the winner, the people who, if someone had just came in, they're at a disadvantage, because all these other people have known each other throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be
so
hard
I'm curious
to
of how they're going to do this.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I think we probably really should get into our topic.
I agree.
It's been, like, really long time.
Before I flatline.
Okay, so do you want to tell us what the topic is, Jacob? Because this is kind of your suggestion.
I was just, influenced by things around my life, and I was thinking that, medical might be a good topic. Some sort of, if you've ever been
injuries
to a hospital, or if you've ever had anybody around you, friends or family that have been in a hospital for any reason, there are certain rules for etiquette, things that you shouldn't do, people you shouldn't annoy.
Oh. We're not on the same page.
And
then.
I guess we should talk about like regular, not just injuries, but regular doctor's visits too for physicals and stuff like that.
See, I did research on injuries.
Okay, injuries are acceptable.
Not hospital stuff. We're gonna be having two different conversations.
We can have two different conversations then. Don't you know, if you're going to a doctor's visit or a medical bill in the U.S., it's going to be expensive. Really anywhere. Like, it's expensive anywhere. It just depends on who's paying for it.
Yeah, it just depends. Like, for me, as long as I stay in network, it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah. Well,
I don't even have a copay.
It doesn't cost you anything, but it costs somebody something. For meds and for medical equipment. It's much cheaper to not break your arm than it is to break your arm. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't you know, just stay inside. Don't take chances. Don't do risks. Don't go rollerblading. Just don't do it.
Oh, that's no fun.
Do it online in VR.
Speaking of, like, don't doing things, is there something, like, what is something that you won't do because you're afraid that you'll injure yourself? Is there anything that you would, like, you're like, I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid this will happen?
So, I've always been kind of adventurous, and I think I still am. Would I go rollerblading again? Yes, definitely. I'm not going to fall on my face next time. But I'm definitely going to go again, and I'm still going to try and go backwards. I'm just going to learn how to do it, so that I'm going to go a little slower next time and make sure I'm good to go. But, I mean, I don't know. I try not to be too fearful. I didn't climb a tree once to put a... there was this one tree that was, like, going up, and it was kind of thin, and it was hard to climb on anyway. But it was also, like, going out over a little cliff onto some little rocks before it went into the river that we were trying to set a rope swing on. And I remember being there, and it was my dad and one of my brothers, and they were like, yeah, just climb it. And I was like, I don't know, it's a little slippery too. I was like, I just don't want to do it, because it was the risk versus reward. We can easily tie something to the rope and throw it over the branch. I ended up making a little monkey fist, because, I know my knots. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. I didn't climb that tree, and then, honestly, my dad went to take an attempt, and he was like, yeah, actually, it's I'm not going to either. And I was like, yeah, see, it's pretty rough. So, yes, there have been times when I've said I'm not going to do something dangerous. I've always joked around that I know I'm getting old because I'll look at something and go, I could climb that, but I don't have to, because I know I could. Like, it's like, oh, I just easily climb there and there and there. I don't have to do it to know that I could. I think that's a sign of maturity. But I'm not scared to do it. If somebody's like, oh, you're a wimp, you're a chicken, I'll probably just go do it, because I know I can do it.
So, for me, and this actually kind of goes into your rollerblading thing, I have always been kind of scared to, like, skateboard. I've always wanted to, but I've always been afraid to fall and break my teeth. Yeah. That is exactly the reason why that I've never skateboarded. That's why I want to go, like, surfing. Like, I could break something or whatever, but I'm not landing teeth first into concrete. Yeah, you're going in the water.
You're either going to drown, or you could hit your board. That's a big injury, is hitting your board.
Yeah, that's a big... Or, like, if you're too close to shore or whatever, you can, like, land on rocks or whatever.
Hard, yeah, break your neck or something.
But, like, those are...
situational.
Least, like, yeah, like,
you can
those aren't as big of a chance as
Right.
when you're skateboarding, where you're not falling into water or whatever. You're like you were falling onto ground. Like,
If
that's
you
it.
any of you right now, if you're listening and you want some gnarly action, go to YouTube and type in Hall of Meat skateboard bail compilation videos, and that's all you need. Just people just trying the craziest stuff and just it not going well at all. And skateboard's very dangerous.
If Jacob sends that to me, then I will post it in the description.
And I mean, in a way, although you don't do the same sort of crazy tricks, like I was just in a skating rink. I wasn't like trying to grind a rail or anything. But I would say that, I don't know, because you can always bail out of a skateboard. You can't just take your rollerblades off. But you don't see too many people doing like the crazy rails and stuff on rollerblades. I think that's just it. I mean, some people do. I've seen people doing it. But it's not as popular as skateboarding, I don't think. Don't you know, wear a helmet if you're doing tricks and stuff.
Speaking of surfing, there's like my dad has refused to learn how to surf because he's like, there's sharks out there. He's afraid of getting like attacked by a shark.
Yeah, that's a whole different
fear. So I feel like
fear.
there's still a lot of things that's why I was like, is there anything you wouldn't do because you're afraid of like getting injured in some way?
No, I don't think I'm fearless enough yet. I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think I'm afraid enough yet. I think I'm too fearless is what I'm saying. I went backwards on that.
So I was talking about, researching, like I did research on injuries. And while I was looking around for an article to talk about, which I do have an article and I will post it, but it's not really one I'm going to really go into detail about, but it's still kind of interesting, so I'm going to post it for those who are interested in it. But there's apparently, like, as I was researching it, there's like a lot of different injuries that I didn't even think about. Like, some of them are like, I saw articles about like head banging injuries.
Oh yeah, like from
like rocking out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like lit to music. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, I could see it. You got too crazy.
I saw an article about an increase in climbing ladder injuries.
Oh yeah.
So you just see like the random thing. There was a lot of stuff about brain injury, which is why I didn't really find any interesting articles, because that's like one of the articles that just kept coming up was different brain injury articles, and I was like, I'm not no neuroscientist, so I don't really know too much about it. I didn't want to get into it. But one article I did see was about moral injury. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because that's not so much of a physical injury. That is like more of a the article says it's more of a spiritual injury. So basically it comes from like a psychological one. And basically what happens is you feel this injury because you've gone against your core values.
Your morals.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of people who feel kind of these things is like soldiers, because, you know,
that's pretty.
They want to protect, but to protect they have to kill the enemy.
Stuff like the greater good, kind of that sort of thing.
So that has to go against kind of their morals. And so moral injuries are a lot of times compared to post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. So I just thought that was interesting, because a lot of times when we talk about injury, we talk about physical injuries, and this was more of a psychological and spiritual. And I did see a lot of people talking about, oh, everyone only talks about injuries that are physical, but what about like mental injuries and physical, psychological injuries and stuff like that. And so I just thought this was interesting, because not only is it a more of a psychological injury, but it also is like a social one and a spiritual one, because those are what your core values come from, is social and your spiritual.
Yeah, that's true. And that's kind of an interesting way to think about it.
So I will post that article in the description if you guys want to read more about it. I just thought, it was interesting talking about the different types of injuries, because you think about it and you may think of like a physical one, or you might not even think of things like climbing a ladder injury or headbanging injury. Like, people legit get hurt from like rocking out to music.
Yeah.
And you just don't think about stuff like that, and it was just interesting.
Yeah, be careful. Don't you know, don't headbang too hard. I wonder if you're more likely to suffer injuries if you have more hair or have less hair, because I feel like the hair would act as a counterbalance, and you just be focused on flipping the hair. Whereas when you don't have it, you really shake your head around.
Now, I think it depends on how much hair, though, because I have long hair, and when I cut it, my head feels so much light. Yeah. So if you're whipping your head around, you have a lot of weight on your hair.
Yeah, but
that's
it's not attached to you directly. It's like if you shake it around, it'll be like, I don't know. I got no idea. Headbangers.
I've seen some people headbang. They're like flipping they're like doing like the little windmill with their hair.
Oh, yeah. I know. So about like the heavy metal construction worker.
Yeah.
That's a great headbanging video. But that's not so traumatic. That's just a little circle, and you're directing the momentum nicely.
Well, see, so with the head banging injury, it comes from not only just like your head injury, but it also talks about neck injury. And swinging your head around in a windmill can cause like a neck injury.
Yeah, I guess if you're a square and if you're not metal enough.
Anyways, okay. So,
moving on. So I think you've talked in the past, and we talked off air about your worst injury, which was the chin story with the Nintendo DS.
No, you don't remember it right. I'm offended. I've told you this story so many times. I was playing with my grandpa. I went chin first into wooden floor. And he felt so bad. He got me a Game Boy.
Game Boy. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, come on, minute detail.
So, I don't honestly remember too much of it. I think, to be truthful, I feel like, I mean, you could disagree with me too, but I feel like, don't you know, when you get injured, the person who tends to remember it the best is the person who actually, like, is there to see you injured.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my family all remember it a lot better than I do. And it wasn't like I had a concussion or anything like that.
You're very young.
But, like, even my brother to this day is like, I remember it. And I remember you lift your chin, and, like, you had, like meat hanging out.
Oh, that's a good
like,
point. The witnesses. That's a good point. Because, like, I just remember hitting the ground, and I was the only one to see that for my teeth. But when I came around, my girlfriend, she's telling me about, like, seeing it. She's like, oh, that was terrible. I don't know where to see that again.
Yeah. And, like, I remember, like, I kind of vaguely remember going to a hospital and stuff like that. But, you know, like, that's it. I remember having stitches. But everyone else remembers it so much more, like, vividly.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were more like, oh, my goodness, she hit her face.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because a lot of times with some of this stuff, it's like, ow, like, it hurts really bad that first time. And then, like, after that, it's kind of, like, more like a dull pain. It doesn't hurt as bad as when it first hit.
Yeah, or adrenaline is kicking in and you don't even feel it or whatever. And that's a big thing, too, is, like, I could imagine if I saw somebody bust their face, I might go a little, like, squeamish. But for me to go through it, I was just like, I didn't even hurt that. I mean, it hurt a little bit, but...
Yeah, and then seeing, like, the blood and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you think about it in your head, and it's way worse than it actually is, you know?
Because, like, I remember when my brother... I was chasing... Don't you know? Don't run in the house.
Don't do it.
So, I was chasing my brother around. He turned around. And also, don't you know when someone's chasing you, don't turn around. And so, I was playing with him and we were chasing around and I was basically it. And so, we were playing a different game. It was like something like, I was pretending to be like a bull or something like that. And I think he was pretending to be a matador or whatever. So, he was running away from me. And he turns to look back to see where I am. Turns back around and goes right into the corner of a wall. And he had to get stitches too. I remember him, like, falling on the ground and, like, holding his head. And, like, I ran because I didn't want to get in trouble. I still got in trouble anyways because my dad knew I was playing with him. And I remember him taking his hands down. And I didn't actually get to see his face, but I remember him seeing his hand. It was covered in blood. And my dad going, oh, no. Get into my kitchen. Don't get blood on my carpet. My dad doesn't even remember saying that part, though.
Well, he was still alive.
Because my dad was sleeping. And, so... Like, he doesn't really remember that because I think he was still kind of sleepish.
Welcome back from your nap. Not only are there screaming people, but there's blood and you have to drive to the hospital. How's that feel?
Exactly. And so,
the hospital.
Like, so, Nick, I don't know how he feels. Like, I don't think he really remembers it too much either. Because sometimes when he describes it, he's like, I don't remember that. Or whatever. But, I remember the blood in his hands.
Blood tends to stand out. You don't tend to see blood too much from day to day. Or maybe some people do. I don't see too much blood.
Yeah, I don't know. It might also just be the color, too. Like, I feel like red just pops out no matter what.
Well, yeah, it's designed to. How about a different application? Have you ever visited anybody in the hospital?
I actually, last weekend my grandpa was in the hospital. He had pneumonia, so, and he had an infection, so he was in there for probably a few days, and I went and visited him, and I got completely lost because it was a really, really big hospital, and I knew what the room was, I knew what the floor was. I went in through the front entrance, and I saw some elevators, and I was like, okay, I'll go to the elevators, and I go to the elevators, and on the wall is like, his room was like 717 or something like that. And I go in there, and I go to the elevators, and right by the elevators, you know, it has
following
like,
the signs
these
stuff.
Rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like room this whatever is on this floor or whatever. And it was like 2000s. I was like, where's 700? Where's the 7th floor?
What did the issue end up being? Were you on floor 20?
I was like in the wrong tower of the hospital, and I walked up and I was like, I don't know where I'm going, and because the information desk was right there, and so the guy laid me, and I had to go through like all these different hallways and go to this completely different set of elevators. Wow. I was like, what? So I went to these elevators and went up to the 7th floor. I still couldn't find his room because on the sign it was like 719 to 24 this way, 24 to 7 like this 30 this way, and I'm like. And I walk across on the other side, and it's like 750, 770, and I'm like, where the heck does 717 go? This says 719. And I was like, I'm sorry, where's 717? Because there's, of course, another desk there.
Yeah.
And they're all like, and even they were confused at first, because they're like, oh, it's that. Oh, wait, that says 719. Huh. And they're like, oh, wait, it's all the way back there. And they're like, and then they were like, And they're like, she goes this way. I was like, and the other nurse was like, yeah, I was just trying to think of like, what's the fastest way to get her there? And I'm just like, I just need a way to get there.
Oh, just any way will do. I was escorted to my room.
Yeah.
They didn't let me look at signs.
So, so I eventually found his office. Yeah. So, and that's about the extent of visiting wise. I was in the hospital, of course, for the chin thing. Don't remember too much about that. I remember one thing, and my mom said that they didn't do it, but I pretty much, it felt like they put like a cover over my face when they gave my stitches, and it almost felt like a toilet seat cover kind of thing. Because you know how it has the hole?
Yeah.
But the rest is like that's what it felt like. Oh. My mom was like, they didn't do that. And I was like, but I kind of remember that they did. The only other time I've been like in the hospital would be when I had my gallbladder removed. And
yeah, that counts.
Yeah, and I remember they gave me something to like kind of make me drowsy or whatever. And that's about it. But my mom said I was very funny. I kept laughing and I kept like sitting up, and they had to keep pushing me down, saying I would sit up and like laugh. Basically, you remember that one time where I got like super drunk and like I puked all in my hat?
No,
it was
kind of
like that. Where I laid down to go to sleep, and then I would like
that.
stand back up and like talk, and then I laid back down, and then I stood back up and talk, and I wouldn't stop laying. I wouldn't just lay down and puked. Anyways, so basically it was like that. I kept like laughing. I kept sitting up and like laughing for no reason. They had to keep pushing me lay back down. That's what they said. I don't remember that. Oh, don't you know? If you just got out of surgery, don't eat cookies. So yeah. I have a story behind that. After I had my gallbladder removed, I was kind of like in and out from the anesthesia. And I woke up and they were like, Raquel, do you want to eat anything? And I was like, no. And I went back to sleep. And I woke back up and my mom had walked my grandma out to go to walk her out. And my mom had ordered herself something to eat.
Uh-huh.
And it came while she was gone. And I saw a cookie. I was like, cookie! And I ate the cookie. And went back to sleep. And then not too much longer later, I puked that cookie up all night.
Oh, no.
All night.
Gross.
The night nurse told the morning nurse, and so the morning nurse came and was like, I bet you regret eating that cookie now. I was like, yes. And they're like, are you hungry? We're going to get you something that's clear liquid.
Well.
Not solids now. I was like, it was the worst night ever. I just, my mom,
yeah, it's brutal. Plus throwing up after surgery, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, bless her heart. She stayed with me because I was only like 16, and she like every time I woke up, she got up and brought that bucket to me, and I just puked the whole night. Man, it sucked. Don't eat the cookie, guys. Don't eat the cookie after surgery.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're gonna do. For me, my only time really being a visitor that I can remember recently was Joelle and Sally giving birth to good old Milena, and yeah, I got to visit the day after she was born. And so it was a little more peaceful, but that was kind of nice. It was a lot different. I think it's a very different air in a freshly delivered baby room than in the emergency room. Two very different days going on in all of this.
I remember going to the hospital for when my baby brother was born.
Yeah.
But no, actually, I don't remember going. Honestly, I don't remember. I know we weren't there on time, and my grandma was mad because they had told my grandma that it was going to be a few hours. She went out to get so we were on our way there, and since they said it would be a few hours, she stopped by and got gas, and we were with her. So we get there, and Frankie was already born. And she was
Oh.
so mad because she was supposed to cut the umbilical cord. And the only reason why I know she's mad because she mentions it all the time. And so does my mom.
Like I
And
said, I know
so-
she's mad. She always reminds us.
So, well, my mom a lot of times brings it up, and then my grandma mentions how mad she was. So it's actually kind of like my mom that always brings it up. But
it's like a family meme now.
yeah. And so I don't remember much about that, and I kind of vaguely remember holding him, but I really don't remember much about that. So I was only 10. So
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts on injuries or hospitals or don't you know? Don't you know? Don't annoy the nurses or the doctors. Don't you know? If you're getting anything below the waist checked, don't make jokes. Don't you know?
Mhm.
Actually go to the doctors. It's recommended that you go at least once a year and make sure everything's good. Don't you know?
do your annual checkup.
get your
I
lumps.
haven't been in like 3 years.
Oh, you need to go get your lumps checked out if you got any of those. Get your moles checked out if you got any of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it sucks to pay for medical bills and stuff, but it's important. You only get one body, at least for now.
I only have one thing left in my notes, which was I was thinking about it. So I don't know about everyone else. I do know that some people this happens,
I know about everybody else. So what you got?
but random bruises like on your legs and you don't remember getting.
My
Or just random bruises anyway.
I've heard of that.
You don't remember getting.
I don't tend to get that. I mean, I guess I get one every once in a while, but I know my mom gets that a lot. She would always talk about that.
Yeah, I get bruises on my legs a lot. Usually, yeah, and I do run into a lot of things. I don't know what it is. It's like I see it, and I still run into it. I don't know why. and I don't know. Maybe it's like an Oldfield curse because we're all really clumsy, but yet we're athletic. It's the weirdest thing. Like I was a really, really good softball player. Nick's a really good basketball player, and yet he walks into stuff. He a lot of times steps into things. I walk into like stuff that I see. I see it's there.
You're just not in the
And
zone.
I still walk into it.
I guess you're not expecting it.
Yeah, and so
You got a high agility.
well, no,
but a low
I expect it.
perception.
no, I expect it. I see it. I just can't I still run into it.
It's like slow motion. It's like, well, this is happening. Bonk.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's crazy.
And the thing is like I'm like my perception must be off. But the thing is I played softball, and obviously my perception isn't off because I was really good. I had no problem hitting. I had tons of
I'm
times
not
where I
talking
would
about
ground
depth
balls.
perception. I'm talking about like if you like stuff like the video with the gorilla that walks through, and it's like how many basketballs. If you're very perceptive, you would see the gorilla.
Uh-huh.
Is
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
getting at. It's not so much like hand-eye or like depth perception.
Yeah. But see, the thing is I still see the
It's a
table. I'm like,
Fallout
oh, I
4
need to avoid.
It's a Fallout trait. Makes you special.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I still see the table, and I'm like, oh, I need to avoid that table. But it's like, oh, oops, I hit it
I
anyways.
don't know. You got a low dexterity.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Anyways, so I always joke and say that I have that when I have like bruises and I don't remember getting them, I'm like, oh, well, I guess my crime fighting alter ego was up last night fighting crime.
Oh, I
Just
see.
has a couple of
That's funny.
injuries. Do you remember? I used to talk about
Good
that in
cover-up.
college. I used to joke about it. I used to say, oh, I got an injury. It must be from when I was crime fighting. I guess I didn't do too well. And then I think I used to joke. It was either with you or Kristen. I think it was Kristen. Because Kristen a lot of times had a lot of bruises. She didn't know where it was from. And
I
I'm
don't
like,
remember that.
I was like, and I was like, Kristen, you must be my sidekick. We must fight crime at night together. And I was like, if you have a lot of bruises, you did your job good. If I have some bruises,
Solving
you didn't do your
crimes.
job well. And with that, that's my last thing. I don't have
Yeah, that's
anything
all I
else.
got too.
Okay, guys. So thanks for listening to us. We're gonna have a link to a couple YouTube videos. Sounds like I think we're gonna have one for the one that Jacob mentioned earlier, and I think he mentioned one other. So we might have that one too, as long as he sends it to me. So if you don't see it in the description, it's because he didn't send it to me. So
I'm
blame
looking
him.
up I mentioned a video? I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
mentioned like some like I don't remember. Like
Neither do I.
re-listen to your audio and figure it out.
Oh, anybody
But you
got time for
mentioned
that?
one at the very beginning, and then you mentioned someone kind of under your breath. I don't know about that one. I was in the middle of talking, and so I didn't really quite hear what you said.
Oh, we were talking about skateboard bailing videos. No, there's a bunch of them. I don't have anyone to link.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Well, there was
there's-
also
it's
one
just
that
like
you
a series
said.
of them.
Oh, okay. Well, And then I'm going to include the article about the moral injuries. It's from Psychology Today.
Your favorite.
Exactly. And then, yeah. So if you guys would subscribe, follow, share, send us a tweet at don'tyouknowpod, or send us an email at don'tyouknowpod@gmail.com.
Just spread us around like a nasty germ.
We greatly appreciate hearing from you guys. Tell us if you guys would like us to do this 10-second drawing. I think we'll do that because it does sound like it's something that me and Jacob want to do.
Yeah, I think it was 5 seconds last time. 10 seconds
Yeah,
sounds
we did
good.
5 seconds.
I think 10 seconds is good.
I think 10 seconds is a little better because I felt like when we were doing 5 seconds, I was barely putting my pencil on the paper.
No, 5 seconds goes by really quickly.
Yeah, I feel like our drawings most of the time were like squiggles. I feel like at least with 10 seconds we'll have a little bit of more of a detail and our pictures won't look the same no matter what we're saying we're drawing.
Yeah, I get some variety.
But that would be a perfect thing is for you guys to send us a message about what you want us to draw.
Or
maybe
different
a topic.
episodes and stuff for us to talk about too. It's a new year.
Yeah, that
new
too.
year, new topics.
I'm running out of topics, guys. We're not going to have any holiday ones because I did all the holidays last week.
We've talked about everything in the world.
That's it. Ooh, I have personal hygiene lift on here still. We have to do that.
Perfect.
Okay. So until next time, guys. See ya.
See ya.